Most people believe that the moment you have a single sip or a tiny bite during your fast, all of your hard work is ruined. But what if I told you that's not the whole truth? There are, in fact, certain foods and drinks that your digestive system barely even notices, and surprisingly, your body stays in that precious fat-burning state. It sounds impossible, but it is not. Welcome to Better Health Advice. I am Dr. Pradip Jamnadas, and today we're going to uncover 5 foods that will not break your fast. We will explore the real science behind it, not just about calories, but about how your body truly reacts to insulin and cellular signals. And be sure to stay with me until the very end, because the 5th food on this list is one I'm willing to bet most of you never expect. It's hiding in plain sight, right in your own kitchen. Now, if you've ever felt that frustration, that fear of accidentally ruining your fast over something small, do me a favor, let me know in the comments where you're watching from today. And while you're there, please hit that like and subscribe button, because what we're about to discuss could completely change your fasting journey. All right, before we dive into the specific list of foods, it is absolutely essential that we build a strong foundation. We must understand a critical question. What does breaking a fast truly mean from a scientific perspective? Because without this understanding, the rules can seem arbitrary, and you won't have the power to make informed decisions for yourself. The goal here isn't for you to blindly follow a list. It's for you to understand the principles so you can navigate your own health journey with confidence. So, let's get into the science of it. When you eat anything that your body recognizes as energy, a complex and beautiful cascade of hormonal events begins. The star player in this process is a hormone called insulin. I want you to imagine insulin as a very diligent gatekeeper. Its primary job is to manage the energy that comes into your body, particularly sugar or glucose. When you eat carbohydrates or a significant amount of protein, your blood sugar levels rise. This signals the pancreas to release our gatekeeper, insulin, into the bloodstream. Insulin then travels throughout your body, knocking on the doors of your cells, your muscle cells, your liver cells, your fat cells. It carries a special key that unlocks these doors, allowing glucose to move from your blood and into the cells where it can be used for immediate energy. This is a vital, life-sustaining process. Without it, the sugar would remain trapped in your bloodstream, leading to a host of serious problems, which is what we see in conditions like type 1 diabetes. However, insulin has another profound role. It is what we call an anabolic hormone. Anabolic simply means to build up. When insulin is present, it sends a powerful signal to your entire body that says, energy is abundant, the harvest is plentiful, it is time to store for the future. This signal effectively flips a metabolic switch. It tells your body to stop burning its stored resources, particularly body fat, and start storing the new energy that's coming in. The fat burning process, known as lipolysis, comes to a grinding halt. The process of converting fat into ketones for brain fuel, that stops too. Any excess sugar that the cells don't need right away is first stored in the liver and muscles as glycogen. And once those stores are full, any further excess is converted into fat for long-term storage. So, when we say you have broken your fast, what we mean on a technical metabolic level is that you have consumed something that caused a significant enough release of insulin to flip that switch. You have shifted your body from the fasted state, a state of burning, repairing, and cleaning up, into the fed state. The fed state is a state of storing and building. Both states are essential for life, but the incredible benefits of fasting, from weight loss and improved insulin sensitivity to cellular cleanup or autophagy, happen almost exclusively in the fasted state when insulin levels are very, very low. This is the core concept you need to grasp. Breaking a fast is not just about calories. It is about the hormonal response to what you consume. This brings us to a crucial point. Not all nutrients are created equal in the eyes of our gatekeeper insulin. Your body's reaction is dramatically different depending on whether you consume fats, proteins, or carbohydrates. Let's start with carbohydrates, especially simple sugars and refined starches. Think of these as a loud, blaring alarm bell. The moment they enter your system, they are broken down into glucose very quickly, causing a rapid spike in blood sugar. This sudden alarm signals a state of emergency to the pancreas, which responds by flooding the system with a large amount of insulin to deal with the sugar rush. Even a small amount, like a spoonful of sugar in your coffee or the sugar in a seemingly harmless glass of juice, can cause this dramatic insulin spike. It's the most powerful way to slam the brakes on fat burning and instantly break your fast. Now let's consider protein. Protein is more nuanced. It does cause an insulin response, but is generally more moderate than that of carbohydrates. The body releases insulin to help shuttle the amino acids from the protein into your cells for muscle repair and other building processes. However, the effect isn't as sharp or as dramatic as with sugar. A small amount of protein might not completely derail a fast aimed at general wellness, but for those seeking the deepest levels of autophagy or maximum fat burning, it's still something to be avoided during the fasting window. And this leads us to the most interesting category, fat. Pure fat is like a stealthy messenger. It's unique. When you consume pure fat like olive oil or coconut oil, it is absorbed through a different pathway and has a minimal, almost negligible impact on blood sugar levels. Because there is no significant rise in blood sugar, the pancreas doesn't get the loud alarm signal to release a large amount of insulin. Our gatekeeper remains mostly dormant. This is the secret. This is why the conversation around fasting is more complex than just 0 calories. Since pure fat does not trigger a significant insulin response, it doesn't flip that metabolic switch from fat burning to fat storing. Your body can continue to burn its own stored fat for energy even while processing this new dietary fat. So, with this crucial knowledge in hand, we can establish a set of clear guiding principles, a sort of golden rules checklist to determine if something is likely to be safe during your fast. The first rule is that it should be very low in calories, or ideally completely calorie-free. While we've established that the type of calorie matters more than the number, the presence of a large caloric load, even from fat, will still give your body a significant source of energy to work on. This means it will pause burning your stored body fat to first deal with the energy you just consumed. The goal of many people's fast is to burn stored body fat, so adding a lot of new fuel, regardless of the source, can be counterproductive. Therefore, keeping the caloric intake minimal is the first step. The second and most important rule is that it must not trigger a strong insulin response. This is the non-negotiable principle we've been discussing. This means absolutely no sugar, no honey, no maple syrup, no fruit juice. It also means no refined carbohydrates or anything that the body can quickly convert into sugar. This is the master switch for maintaining a fasted state. Anything that keeps insulin low is on the table for consideration. Anything that spikes it is out. The third rule is that it should not cause major digestive activity or inflammation. One of the profound benefits of fasting is that it gives your entire digestive system a much needed rest. This period of rest can help heal the gut lining, rebalance gut bacteria, and reduce overall inflammation. Consuming things that are heavy or difficult to digest, even if they don't spike insulin, can interfere with this resting and healing process. We want to consume things that are so simple, so gentle, that the body can handle them without revving up the entire digestive engine. So, to recap these 3 golden rules. Rule number 1, keep calories minimal. Rule number 2, ensure it does not spike insulin. And rule number 3, make sure it doesn't demand significant work from your digestive system. If something you're considering meets all 3 of these criteria, it is very likely safe to consume during your fasting window without losing the primary metabolic benefits you're working so hard to achieve. Now that we have this solid scientific foundation, let's get into the practical application. We are going to move on to the list of 5 specific foods that fit these rules. Item number 1, pure fats and oils. This might be surprising to some, but as we've discussed, pure fats are unique in their metabolic effect. We are talking about things like MCT oil, which stands for medium chain triglycerides, coconut oil, a small pat of grass-fed butter, or even a high-quality extra virgin olive oil. These are sources of calories, yes, but they bypass the insulin alarm bell almost completely. MCT oil is particularly interesting for those who fast. Because of their shorter chain length, MCTs are metabolized differently than other fats. They are sent directly from the gut to the liver, where they are readily converted into an alternative fuel source called ketones. Ketones are a fantastic source of energy, especially for the brain. Many people who experience brain fog or a drop in mental energy during a fast find that adding a single teaspoon of MCT oil to their morning coffee can make a world of difference. It provides a source of clean, quick energy that can sharpen focus, reduce hunger pangs, and make the fasting experience much smoother, all without spiking insulin and breaking your fast. Similarly, the fats in coconut oil or grass-fed butter can provide a sense of satiety or fullness that helps you push your fasting window longer. However, and this is a critically important point, the key word here is moderation. The goal is not to load up your morning coffee with hundreds of calories of fat. While a bulletproof style coffee might not break your fast in an insulin spiking way, consuming a large amount of dietary fat provides your body with a new, easy fuel source. It will happily burn through that tablespoon of butter and oil instead of going through the harder work of tapping into your stored body fat. The point is to use a minimal amount, think 1 teaspoon, not 2 tablespoons, as a tool to help you with mental clarity and hunger, not as a meal replacement. Use just enough to make your fast more comfortable and sustainable, but not so much that it defeats the purpose of encouraging your body to use its own stored fuel. All right, let's move on to the next item on our list. Item number 2, black coffee. This is a classic, and for good reason. For millions of people who practice intermittent fasting, black coffee is an indispensable part of their morning ritual, and the science supports its use. A plain cup of black coffee contains almost no calories, typically fewer than 5, which is an amount so negligible that your body doesn't even register it as a meal. More importantly, it contains 0 sugar or carbohydrates, meaning it does not provoke an insulin response. It comfortably passes our golden rules. But the benefits of coffee go beyond just not breaking your fast. Coffee is rich in natural compounds, most famously caffeine, but also powerful antioxidants like polyphenols. Caffeine is a well-known stimulant that can significantly improve focus and mental alertness, which can be particularly helpful during the morning hours of a fast. It also has a thermogenic effect, meaning it can slightly increase your metabolic rate, encouraging your body to burn a few extra calories. Some studies even suggest that caffeine can help mobilize fatty acids from your fat tissues, making them more available for your body to use as fuel. It essentially supports the very process you're trying to encourage with fasting. Furthermore, coffee can act as a mild appetite suppressant. That warm cup in the morning can create a sense of fullness and satisfaction that blunts hunger signals, making it easier to extend your fast until your planned first meal. The key, however, is absolute purity. It must be black coffee, no sugar, no milk or cream, as both contain sugars and proteins that will trigger insulin. No artificial sweeteners that might confuse your body, which we will discuss later. No flavored syrups, which are almost always loaded with sugar. Any of these additions will instantly turn your fast-friendly beverage into a fast-breaking one. If you find the bitterness of regular hot brewed coffee to be too much, consider trying cold brew. The cold brewing process results in a coffee that is naturally smoother and less acidic, which many people find much easier to drink black while fasting. Next up, we have another incredibly popular and beneficial beverage. Item number 3, plain tea or herbal tea. Much like coffee, tea, when consumed without any additions, is a fantastic option for your fasting window. It is practically calorie-free, and provided you don't add sugar or milk, it will not cause an insulin spike. It's a wonderful way to stay hydrated and enjoy some flavor without breaking your fast. Green tea, in particular, is a superstar in this category. It is packed with powerful antioxidants called catechins, the most famous of which is epigallocatechin gallate, or EGCG. Research has shown that these compounds can offer a wealth of health benefits that actually complement the goals of fasting. EGCG has been shown to enhance fat oxidation, which means it helps your body burn fat for energy more efficiently. It can also support the process of autophagy, that critical cellular cleanup I mentioned earlier, where your cells get rid of old, damaged components. So, in a way, sipping on green tea during your fast isn't just a neutral act. It might actually be enhancing some of the very benefits you're fasting for in the first place. But the world of tea is vast. Black tea is also an excellent choice, offering similar benefits to coffee with a slightly different profile of antioxidants. And then there are herbal teas, which open up a whole new range of possibilities. Teas like peppermint can be wonderfully soothing for the stomach and may help ease hunger pangs. Ginger tea is well known for its anti-inflammatory properties and its ability to settle an upset stomach. Chamomile tea is a classic choice for the evening, as it can promote relaxation and calmness without breaking your fast before bed. The rule, as always, is to keep it clean and natural. You must check the ingredients of your herbal tea blends. Some commercially available teas contain hidden sugars, dried fruit pieces, or artificial flavors that could potentially trigger an insulin response. Stick to simple, single-ingredient teas or blends that you know contain only pure herbs and spices. Skip the honey, skip the milk, skip any form of sweetener, and you will have a perfect, hydrating, and potentially health-boosting companion for your fast. Now for our fourth item, a simple yet refreshing trick. Item number 4, lemon water. This is a simple yet incredibly effective tool that many people use to enhance their fasting experience, especially in the morning. A few drops of fresh lemon juice squeezed into a glass of warm or cold water adds a pleasant flavor and a slight boost of vitamin C. But the caloric and sugar content is so incredibly low that your body barely registers it. It certainly is not enough to cause a significant insulin release or disrupt your fasted state. Beyond just adding flavor, lemon water can be beneficial in a few other ways. Staying properly hydrated is paramount during a fast, and let's be honest, sometimes drinking plain water can become monotonous. Adding a little bit of lemon can make water more palatable, encouraging you to drink more and stay well hydrated. The citric acid in lemon can also stimulate the production of saliva and stomach acid, which can help prime your digestive system for your first meal when you do decide to break your fast. Some people also find it helps to balance electrolytes and provides a general sense of freshness and detoxification, starting their day on the right foot. But here again, the dose makes all the difference. We are talking about a few drops or perhaps a small squeeze from a single wedge of lemon into a large glass of water. You should not be squeezing an entire lemon or even half a lemon into your glass. Doing so adds a more substantial amount of sugar and acidity, which absolutely could be enough to stimulate your digestive system and potentially cause a small insulin response, interfering with your fast. The idea is to add just enough for a hint of flavor, not to make a sour lemonade. Keep it subtle, keep it minimal, and lemon water can be a wonderful, refreshing, and safe addition to your fasting routine. And that brings us to the fifth and final item, the one I promised would be surprising and perhaps a bit controversial. Item number 5, non-caloric sweeteners. Specifically, we are talking about natural, non-caloric sweeteners like stevia and monk fruit. This is a topic of much debate in the fasting community, and it's important that we approach it with nuance. On a purely technical level, these sweeteners do not break a fast. They contain no sugar and no calories. They do not raise blood glucose levels, and therefore they do not cause a direct insulin response from the pancreas. Based on our golden rules, they seem to pass the test. For someone with diabetes, for instance, these sweeteners are a safe alternative because they don't impact blood sugar. However, the story is a bit more complicated than that. The human body is not just a simple machine of inputs and outputs. The brain and gut are intricately connected. Some research suggests the existence of something called the cephalic phase insulin response. This is a phenomenon where the mere taste of sweetness on your tongue, even without any actual sugar or calories, can trick your brain into anticipating an incoming rush of sugar. In some sensitive individuals, this anticipation alone can cause the pancreas to release a small amount of insulin in preparation. If this happens, then yes, for that person, the sweetener has technically interfered with their fast. Furthermore, there is a psychological component to consider. For many people, the taste of sweetness can trigger cravings. Having a sweetened beverage during your fast might make it much harder to resist cravings for actual sugary foods later in the day. It can keep your brain's reward pathways for sweetness activated, which can work against the goal of trying to reduce your dependence on sweet tastes. It can become a psychological crutch rather than a helpful tool. So, what is the verdict? It truly depends on your individual body and your goals. My advice is to treat these sweeteners as a tool to be used sparingly and with careful self-observation. If a few drops of stevia in your tea are the one thing that helps you get through a long fast without giving up entirely, then it may be a net positive for your journey. However, you must be honest with yourself. Pay close attention to how you feel afterward. Do you find yourself hungrier? Do you experience more intense cravings? If so, it's a clear sign that these sweeteners might not be a good fit for you, and it would be better to stick to unsweetened beverages. The ultimate goal is to support your fasting routine, not to replace real discipline with artificial substitutes. Now that we have our list of 5 tools, the most important part is learning how to use them correctly for your unique body. This brings us to the most crucial section of our discussion: personalization. There is no single rule, no perfect protocol that fits every single person. Your body is a unique ecosystem with its own distinct metabolism, hormonal sensitivities, and lifestyle factors. What works wonders for one person may not work for another. This is why the most empowering thing you can do on your health journey is to stop looking for a one-size-fits-all answer and start learning to listen to the signals your own body is sending you. I want you to become the scientist of your own biology. The best way to do this is to test these fasting-safe foods one at a time, instead of adding several new things to your routine all at once. Start simple. Pick just one item from the list we discussed. Maybe you want to try adding a teaspoon of MCT oil to your coffee, or maybe you'll start with a cup of green tea in the afternoon. Introduce that one single change and stick with it for a few days. During this time, your only job is to be an impartial observer. Notice how your body feels, both during your fast and after you break it. Ask yourself specific questions and be honest with the answers. How is your focus? Do you feel mentally sharp and clear? Or are you foggy and distracted? How are your energy levels? Do you feel a steady, stable energy throughout the day? Or do you experience a sudden spike followed by a crash? That spike and crash pattern is a classic sign that your insulin was likely triggered. How are your hunger levels? Does the new addition help you feel more satisfied and last longer? Or does it strangely make you feel hungrier or trigger cravings you didn't have before? How is your digestion? Do you feel light and comfortable? Or do you notice any bloating, gas, or stomach discomfort? These signals are not random. They are your body's direct feedback, telling you precisely what works and what does not. For those who want to be more precise, you can track more specific reactions. Some people find it incredibly insightful to use a blood glucose monitor. You can test your blood sugar before and after having something like lemon water or a cup of coffee with MCT oil. Even a small change can tell you a lot. If your blood sugar remains stable, it's a strong indicator that your fast is still intact. But if you see a noticeable jump, even a small one, that item might not be as safe for your individual system as it is for someone else's. It is all about finding your personal limits and sensitivities rather than just copying someone else's approach. Pay very close attention to your hunger patterns. As we discussed with non-caloric sweeteners, some foods, even technically fasting-friendly ones, can trigger appetite in sensitive individuals because the brain tastes sweetness without receiving any actual energy. If you find yourself consistently hungrier after using them, it is a clear sign to skip them altogether. On the other hand, if that small amount of fat in your coffee is the key that helps you comfortably fast for an extra 2 hours without thinking about food, that is a very positive sign that your body tolerates it well. To make this process of self-discovery easier, I highly recommend keeping a short journal during your fasting days. It doesn't need to be complicated. A simple notebook or a note on your phone will do. For each day, just jot down what you consumed during your fast, approximately when you had it, and how you felt afterward. Note your energy, your hunger, your focus, and any other physical sensations. After just a week or two, you will start to see clear patterns emerge. You'll have your own personal data showing what supports your fasting goals and what disrupts them. This process takes a little patience, but the insight it provides is absolutely worth it. The goal is not perfection, it is awareness. Once you understand your body's unique signals, you gain the power to fine-tune your approach. You can adjust the amounts, the timing, or the frequency of each of these fasting-safe items. You can confidently eliminate what causes you discomfort and keep what helps you thrive. Gradually, you will build a routine that feels natural, effortless, and sustainable for the long term. And that is how fasting transforms from being just a rigid method you follow into a personalized rhythm that fits you and only you perfectly. All right, before we wrap up, let's quickly summarize the most important takeaways from our discussion today in a simple list of do's and don'ts. To crystallize everything we've talked about, let's review the core principles that will help you navigate your fast successfully without making common mistakes. First, the things you should absolutely do. These are the positive habits to cultivate. The first do is to start slow and test one thing at a time. When you want to incorporate one of these tools like MCT oil or herbal tea, don't throw everything in at once. Introduce one new element for several days and observe. This is the only way to know for sure how your individual body is reacting to that specific item. The second do is to always listen to your body's signals. Your body provides constant feedback. Fatigue, headaches, bloating, or increased cravings are not things to be ignored or pushed through. They are valuable data. Acknowledge this feedback and be willing to adjust your approach based on what your body is telling you. The third do is to keep everything pure. This is a simple but critical rule. Your coffee should be black, your tea should be plain, your water should only have a few drops of real lemon. The moment you add sugar, milk, creamers, or artificial flavorings, you are no longer supporting your fast, you are actively breaking it. And the fourth do is to prioritize hydration with water and electrolytes. Fasting is not about deprivation, it's about metabolic rest. Your body's need for water and essential minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium does not go away. In fact, it can increase. Staying well hydrated is the foundation of a safe and effective fast. Now, let's cover the things you should not do. Avoiding these common pitfalls is just as important as adopting the good habits. The first don't is do not overuse fats, even the good ones. Remember, a teaspoon of MCT oil is a tool, a large high-calorie, fat-filled coffee is a meal. It may not spike your insulin, but it will stop your body from burning its own stored fat, which is a primary goal for many. Use fat minimally and strategically. The second don't is to avoid artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and acesulfame potassium. While we discuss the nuances of natural non-caloric sweeteners, these highly processed artificial ones are a different story. They can have negative effects on the gut microbiome, and for many people can trigger even stronger cravings and other unwanted metabolic responses. It's best to avoid them entirely. The third don't is to ignore negative symptoms. If you consistently get a headache after your morning coffee or feel bloated after having tea, don't dismiss it. It's a sign that that particular item or the amount you're consuming isn't right for you. Fasting should make you feel better over time, not worse. And the final, most important don't is do not blindly copy someone else's routine. It's wonderful to learn from others, but your body is not their body. What works for a fitness influencer or your neighbor might not be the right approach for your unique physiology. Use their experience as inspiration, but always conduct your own personal experiments to find what truly works for you. You made it to the end. And what you've just discovered isn't just a list of 5 foods. You have learned how to reclaim control over your fast from its very foundation by understanding the language of your own body. That is the true power of this knowledge. Now, I'm not asking you to change everything all at once. I want you to do just one thing. Choose one of the tools we talked about today. Maybe it's the green tea or the lemon water, and just try it once tomorrow. That's it. That is how every meaningful change begins, with one small, simple step. And so we can build a strong, supportive community here together. If you feel inspired to apply this knowledge, please comment the phrase "ready to listen" down below. I do read every single comment. And finally, always remember this: you are far more powerful than you think. Your journey to reclaiming your health and vitality is just beginning. Please subscribe to the Better Health Advice channel and turn on notifications so we can continue to walk this path together. Thank you for watching. Now go and take care of your health.